The evolution of civilization without electricity. Electricity is a fundamental part of modern civilization. It powers our homes, businesses, and transportation systems. It allows us to communicate with each other instantly and access information from all over the world. But what if there was no electricity? How would our civilization evolve? It is difficult to say for sure, but it is possible to imagine a number of ways that a civilization without electricity could develop. One possibility is that it would be more decentralized and localized. Without electricity, it would be more difficult to maintain large cities and complex infrastructure. Instead, people would likely live in smaller communities that are more self-sufficient. Another possibility is that a civilization without electricity would be more reliant on renewable energy sources. Without the ability to generate electricity from fossil fuels, people would need to find other ways to power their homes and businesses. This could lead to a greater emphasis on solar, wind, and hydropower. Transportation would also be different in a civilization without electricity. Cars, buses, and trains would all be replaced by non-electric forms of transportation, such as bicycles, horses, and sailing ships. This would likely make travel more time-consuming and difficult, but it would also be more environmentally friendly. Communication and information sharing would also be different in a civilization without electricity. Without the internet or cell phones, people would need to rely on traditional forms of communication, such as letters, newspapers, and radio. This would make it more difficult to stay connected with people who live far away, but it would also make communication more meaningful and personal. Overall, it is difficult to say exactly how a civilization without electricity would evolve. However, it is clear that it would be a very different world from the one we live in today. Here are some specific examples of how a civilization without electricity might develop. Agriculture. Without electricity, farmers would need to rely on traditional methods of agriculture, such as animal-drawn plows and handheld tools. This would make farming more labor-intensive, but it would also be more sustainable. Manufacturing. Without electricity, manufacturing would be much more limited. Many of the machines and processes that we rely on today require electricity to operate. However, there are still many traditional manufacturing techniques that could be used without electricity. Medicine. Without electricity, medical care would be more basic. There would be no medical devices, such as X-ray machines and MRI scanners. However, there are still many traditional medical treatments that could be used effectively. Education. Without electricity, education would be more difficult to provide. There would be no computers or other electronic devices to assist with learning. However, traditional teaching methods, such as lectures and readings, could still be used effectively. Overall, a civilization without electricity would be a very different world from the one we live in today. However, it is possible that such a civilization could still be advanced and prosperous.